the day my son coached his daughter's softball team and learned what fatherhood really means. My son, Leo, is 39. He is a man in the thick of it, a demanding career, a mortgage, and a relentless drive to succeed at everything he does. He is a good man, a great father, but his patience, well, it is calibrated for the boardroom, not the ballpark. So last spring, when the volunteer coach for my 8-year-old granddaughter Mia's softball team had to step down, Leo did what he always does. He stepped up. He volunteered to coach the Scrappers. I was proud, of course, seeing my son father himself coaching my granddaughter. It felt like a perfect circle, but I also had this knot in my stomach. I have seen that look in his eye before. It is the same look I used to have. It is a look that can build a career, but it can also break a little girl's heart. Chapter 1. The Director of the Dugout. Leo approached coaching the way he approaches a quarterly report, with metrics, objectives, and an expectation of performance. He was the director of the dugout. To Mia, he was everything. Her dad, the coach, the hero. She would listen to his instructions with a level of focus I would never seen from her at the dinner table. She wanted so badly to be his star player. But Leo was not coaching a team. He was managing assets. He knew the statistics, the optimal launch angle for a hit. What he did not know was the emotional world of an 8-year-old who just wants to make her daddy proud. He would run a drill on cutoff throws and get frustrated when a player would get distracted by an ice cream truck driving by. He would talk about maximizing opportunities, and they would be giggling about a funny-shaped cloud. From my spot in the bleachers, I saw it all unfolding. I saw the successful, competent man I would raise trying to apply the logic of his world to a place that runs on emotion, scraped knees, and the pure joy of just being outside. The frustration was building, and I knew who would bear the brunt of it. Chapter 2. Past the breaking point. The breaking point came on a hot Saturday afternoon. The Scrappers were down by a run, bottom of the last inning. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and my granddaughter, Mia, was at the plate. She swung at the first pitch, a looper that was way outside. Strike 1. From the coach's box, I heard Leo's voice cut through the air. Mia, what was that? That is not your pitch. Be selective. It was not coaching. It was a critique. Mia stepped out of the batter's box, her small frame tense. She looked at her dad, and he just gave her a stern, impatient look. She stepped back in. The next pitch came. She swung, desperate to make something happen, and missed. Strike 2. Come on, Mia, just put the bat on the ball. It is not that hard. It is not that hard. Words that sound like motivation, but feel like an accusation. Especially from your father. The third pitch was a perfect strike, but Mia did not swing. She was frozen. Not by the ball, but by the fear of failing the most important man in her world. Strike 3. The game was over. The other team cheered. But I was watching my son and my granddaughter. Leo threw his hat on the ground in a flash of anger, and Mia, she did not run into my arms. She just walked slowly to the dugout, her head down, and sat on the bench, trying to hide her tears from the one person she wanted comfort from. Chapter 3. The Rearview Mirror. That night, after we dropped Mia off, Leo drove me home. He was quiet, replaying the game, the business deal he would lost. He was treating his daughter's game like a failed merger. She's got to learn to handle pressure, Dad, he finally said, breaking the silence. The world is competitive. I looked at my son, my successful, driven 39-year-old son, and I saw myself 30 years ago. Ever tell you about the time you were 7? I asked him. Your first year of coach pitch, the Hornets. He gave me a tired smile. Vaguely. You struck out to end a game. bases loaded, just like Mia today. And you threw your helmet. You threw it. It almost hit Mrs. Henderson. He chuckled a little. Sounds about right. I was so mad, I confessed. I was embarrassed. I was thinking about what the other parents were thinking. I was making it about me. I started to walk out there to tell you to pick up that helmet and get in the car. But then your grandfather, my dad, he grabbed my arm. He was sitting in the bleachers, and he just shook his head, and he said, "Mike, go be his dad, not his coach." I looked out the window saying, so I walked out there, knelt down, and told you how proud I was that you swung the bat, and that we would get ice cream. Your whole face lit up. I turned to Leo. You were a great father, Leo, but right now, Mia does not need a great coach. She needs her dad. She needs to know that you just love watching her play. Chapter 4. The Father's Comeback. I went to the next practice, not knowing what to expect. Leo was there early. When Mia arrived, she hung back, unsure. Leo saw her and walked right over. He knelt down, pulled her into a hug, and I saw him whisper something that made her giggle. He started that practice with a 20-minute water balloon toss. It was chaos. It was messy. It was perfect. Later, when Mia got up to bat, she looked over at her dad. He was not holding a clipboard. He was not yelling instructions. He just gave her a thumbs up and a huge, goofy grin. She hit a weak grounder and was thrown out at first. But as she ran past the bag, she was laughing. She ran back to the dugout, and Leo was there. He did not tell her to adjust her swing. He just said, "I love how hard you ran. You looked so fast." My son, the successful businessman, had finally understood. The most important metric on that field was not runs or hits. It was smiles. He had learned the lesson, and my father taught me, and that I was now passing to him. The lesson at Fatherhood. In closing, Coach Wiz gives his take. Now that is a story that hits you right in the heart. This is about something so many fathers go through. We want to give our kids the tools to succeed in a tough world. We teach them discipline, focus, performance. But sometimes we forget that the heart of an 8-year-old heart is not a business that needs managing. The wisdom of the grandfather in this story is the core of it all. Go be his dad, not his coach. That is a line every parent coach should write on their clipboard. There will be a time for intense coaching, for pushing limits, but for an 8-year-old, the single most important thing you can give them is a love for the game, and that love is fragile. It should be built on fun, encouragement, and the unwavering knowledge that your parents' love is not tied to your performance. What Leo learned is that his most important job was not to fix his daughter's swing. It was to protect her joy. By sharing his own father's wisdom, Mike gave his son a gift far more valuable than any coaching clinic. He gave him perspective. And that is the beautiful, repeating melody of fatherhood. Finally, to all of you, thank you for watching and listening. Have you ever had to learn the difference between being a parent and being a coach? Share your story in the comments below. We feature new stories every week, so be sure to subscribe and join our community of fathers and grandfathers of the Diamond.